Monday, the 11th of September. I am your host, Ibrahim Sani. Just before we go on, there will be some special press conference to be given by the Menteri Besar of Kedah, happening right after markets today. Shortly after this, expected to be some material announcements, so stay tuned for that. So let's start off with some news with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Najib Razak, yesterday defended the government's track record at upholding free speech and democracy ahead of his meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House in Washington on September 12th. He said that he repealed the Internal Security Act and ended the state of emergency that has existed for 60 years. He has increased media freedom by scrapping restrictions on newspaper publishing licenses, and he has reformed the Universities Act to allow undergraduates to participate in political activities. He says that he has also passed the Peaceful Assembly Act, and by doing so, enshrining in law the right to peaceful protest. Of course, to discuss this and more ahead of the discussion with the President of Donald Trump and the Prime Minister of Malaysia, I have with me IQI Global Chief Economist Shan Saeed. Shan, are you there?
Yes.
Right, Shan, what do you make from this particular announcement that was made yesterday by the Prime Minister?
I think it's a very significant meeting because, as you know, Malaysia is an important player in Belt and Road strategy. And secondly, Malaysia is on the growth path. Most of the economies globally, they would like to make strategic alliances and trade back with those economies which are on the upsurge. So I think this meeting will herald a new era in the US-Malaysia relationship, and this will give further boost to FDI in Malaysia and give further confidence to global investors to relocate their funds and park their funds in Malaysia.
The domestic policy that Trump has taken is a very protectionist one. Do you think that President Donald Trump will look for greater global trade with Malaysia, considering that he has taken a very domestic stance for the past few months?
Yes, I think that's an area of concern because other economies are following the open trade policy, and on the other hand, US is following a very protectionist policies. And protectionist policies will actually hurt the US consumers. So I think US needs to come out and say that, okay, we believe in open trade policies and we will shun the protectionist policies because it will not help the global economy. And eventually, if they keep on going like this, it will create inefficiencies and it will create, consumer loss for the American people.
Right, Shan, there's also the issue of the security within the Southeast Asian landscape. Do you think that President Donald Trump will raise the issue of North Korea, for instance, with the Prime Minister?
Yes, I think definitely Prime Minister Najib and President Donald Trump will discuss this East China Sea issue. I think US has been very, very patient, and most of the major players in ASEAN have been very, very patient with North Korea. North Korea has been threatening off and on, which will create instability. And US has been very, very patient, and not only US, but global players. So I think this will eventually come in the discussion. And I think they will try to diffuse the situation and try to engage the North Korean government to come to the table so that, they can have a meaningful dialogue. Otherwise, it will be bad for the North Korean economy.
Right, Shan, thanks for joining me. That was Shan Saeed, the IQI Global Chief Economist. And of course, we'll take a short break. But when we come back, we'll take a look into FGV. Is there a new dawn beckoning there? Don't go anywhere.